I thought it was incredible that Christ ascended in the second month in the Hebrew calendar, because I just discovered this year several things that happened in the second month in the Hebrew calendar that are associated with God's building. And the first thing was that in Numbers 2 and in Numbers 10, we find out that it was in the second month that God had his people, had a census of his people, and he positioned all of his people into the tribes in their arrangement around the tabernacle. And then finally, in the 20th day of the second month was the time when the cloud lifted and they actually embarked on their wilderness journey for the first time with the tabernacle and the ark in their midst. And so this was a really key, precursor picture of all the tribes in the New Jerusalem around God and God's dwelling place on earth. This was a shadow and a type of that. And it happened the establishment of it happened in the second month. So then you go on, and in Solomon's temple, it says that they began to lay the foundation in the second month. And then later, after the Babylonian captivity, when they returned to Jerusalem to rebuild, it was in the second month that Zerubbabel laid the foundation. We read about that in Ezra chapter 3, verse 8. So in the second month, there's always this fresh laying of foundation of God's building and God's temple being established in the earth. So I think there's a focus on God's temple. So I wanted to read Ephesians chapter 2. I've been really drawn to all the verses that are chapter 2, verses 22. The Lord keeps leading me to different ones. In a previous video, I talked about Genesis 2:22 and how God took the rib out of the side of Adam and built. It says he built the woman from the rib. So that's the first use of that word build in the Bible, and it's in Genesis 2:22. So now look at Ephesians 2:20 through 22. It says about Christ Jesus being the cornerstone, in whom all the building being fitted together is growing into a holy temple in the Lord, in whom you also are being built together into a dwelling place of God in spirit. So this is Ephesians 2:22, also talking about being built into a dwelling place. And that's what the tabernacle with the ark at the center really represented in the Old Testament, types and shadows, was this journey of Christ as the ark, Christ as the tabernacle. He was the one who became flesh and tabernacled among us, right? So he's the reality of the tabernacle. He's also the reality of the ark. And Psalm 68 is revealing that he's journeying through the earth until he reaches and ascends Mount Zion. And it's there on Mount Zion that God establishes his temple forever as a picture of that eternal New Jerusalem that's coming.